but we appreciate you all. Greg Angello here with you on. You're watching this. Hopefully, you're watching this on YouTube through Planet One Radio. So what's going on? So want to just update you right now. John C. and I just finished a recording our radio podcast, or as he calls it, our broadcast, and it's actually quite a different type of podcast or conversation, I'd say, that we've ever had. Well, we've had conversations like this before. We've never actually recorded them, and I've never spoken in this sort of a context so this has ended up turning out to be, we were going in one direction and we ended up going in another direction, and it lasted for quite a while. It was about 2 hours. So, and I'll fill you in on it all, bits and pieces, and then I'll get out the recording out later, I should be able to get it out later today. I don't do a lot of editing on this stuff anymore, especially with John. He doesn't, it's pretty easy to get through with him, and we just kind of like leave it the way it is. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to call it right now, but when we first started it, we actually got started early this morning. It was around 7 o'clock. We spoke last night. We couldn't really do one on Sunday. There was a lot of things going on with me, and I had Isaac a lot for the day, and then I just couldn't get around to it. So we ended up doing it this morning, because I do have some days during the week where I don't have to be dealing with like on Wednesdays, which is great for right now. But anyway, so we were going to pick up where we left off on the motivational positive thing, and it kind of started that way, and then we kind of went down, as John would say, we went down a rabbit hole, but it was more of a biblical, spiritual conversation than we really didn't even plan for. And so I will say this. So, John and I don't necessarily agree on everything that on biblical terms and all that. I'm not saying that, who he is or who he isn't, but we just don't, we don't necessarily agree. And you will find that out if you listen to the show that we did. Once I get it out, you'll see what that is like. And but I think it went well. In fact, there was a point, I think it was towards the end. Now, again, this is about 2 hours. Now, whether or not you're going to be able to hang in there for all that, I don't know. But towards the end, I would say probably about an hour and 40 minutes into it, we started having a conversation about what was in Luke 17, about the rich young ruler and wealth. And John got really quiet after we had our conversation. And I'll just leave it up to your own interpretation of how that turned out and all of that. So, but I think it's really was a direction that I felt that I wanted to go on a podcast for quite some time. It's not easy to discuss your faith. It's not easy to talk about biblical views on a show or on a podcast. And that's just the way it is. But I wasn't nervous about it. I wasn't I'm not worried about what I said, things like that. And my only concern is that I exalted Christ and glorified Christ in what I said. Now, there's some things that John had said that I just don't agree with, and I basically told him that. Just how it is. But John and I have known each other a long time. We've known each other for over 40 years. And this is not the first time we've had conversations like that. And as I said at the beginning, we've never done it on a show. We've never recorded it before. So this may lead to something. It could, and I believe it will. It may. So we appreciate the fact that if you do, once I put it up there, if you listen to it, you may not be able to, hopefully you'll be able to listen to all of it. I will maybe get some editing done into it, not a lot of it, and we'll just kind of like leave it the way it is. So that's pretty much it. The other thing, talking about from a biblical view as well, is that I spoke to Isaac yesterday and talked about doing a Knowledge Kid show. And we were talking about, like, do you want to talk about where you think like your knowledge, where you get your knowledge from, right? You get it from school, you get it from learning, you get it from reading, you get it from books, you get it from your parents. And then Isaac said, well, I really want to talk a little bit about like more like how it works with God, because Isaac knows, he knows the Bible. Now, I can't say that he's, is it study the Bible, like, those that have theologies, theology wise and all of that. But we've been reading the Bible to him. I mean, he has been introduced to biblical faith since he was old enough to know, and through his education at the Christian school that he goes to, and he can pretty much tell you where Genesis is and where Ephesians is, and what Old Testament, New Testament. He knows all of those things, and we read to him chapter and verse of each book chronologically, from Old Testament to New Testament. We every night we either read like one full chapter. It depends if it's a short chapter in whatever book it's in, then we'll read maybe two of those, and then that's it. And then we go on. Then the next night we pick up where we left off. So we basically started, I think, sometime last year. We were in Genesis 1, and now I think that we are in. I think we're in Ephesians, and so I think that's where we're at this point. So that's it's going to be interesting. I don't know what Isaac is going to say, and it's not going to be rehearsed. I'm not going to prompt him to say anything. It's whatever how he feels about it, and how he feels that the Holy Spirit works in what he's going to say. That's how we're going to leave it. So it should be exciting. But he's encouraged to do it, and we're all for it. All right. So we appreciate you all, and we want to encourage you to go back to the Knowledge Kids show, the one that Isaac and I did recently. He did one on the piano, and that was very, very good. I really liked it. I did post on my own personal Facebook post when Isaac, I don't know if he was 3 at the time. He may have been younger at that, when he was actually on the piano, hitting some keys and doing a little bit of singing. But it's really remarkable to see from that point of view to where he is now. It's very, very good. So, all right. So that's going to do it. We will be getting out this podcast show on Planet One Radio that John and I finished up earlier this morning. We started off really early this morning. I think it was around 7 a.m. And that should be out hopefully later today to get you all out there, and hopefully you'll be able to see it and listen to it. And as we have said on this show, we appreciate your comments. Some of you may not agree with everything that I've said, or even in its entirety, in its whole or in part. I don't know. And you may have your own thoughts and all that, which we do encourage you to comment as well. But we also are looking for people who, if you're struggling with issues, if you're struggling with things in your life and you want to talk about those, what you're dealing with, we also would like to hear about that. If you want to DM me with some other things you're dealing about, if you need prayer for something, I am here for you for that. And I encourage you to reach out with me as well. Okay. All right. And that'll do it for this little short video on our quick little one on Planet One Radio. We'll talk to you real soon.